What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we here back in Europe, but we checking out things Americans get wrong about Europe. I think for me, there's a lot of things you can easily get wrong about Europe if you don't know. Just off what you heard, I guess depending on what you see and who you see it from. This is from living ironically in Europe. I feel like this channel sounds familiar. I might have done it before. I don't know. I haven't subscribed, but I might have to, and you should as well after you watch this video. So let's see what things Americans get wrong about Europe. Beautiful.
Come to Birmingham! Come to Birmingham!
I ain't gonna lie, that scared me. That scared me a little bit. I felt
Come
personal.
to Birmingham! Come to Birmingham!
Long held as a land of culture, etiquette, sophistication, elegance, free healthcare, and pretentious intellectual snobs whose lungs are more full of their own farts than the average 13-year-olds are of questionable fruit-flavored cancer fumes from bright-colored Chinese sticks. For the longest time, Europe has been held by many Americans as this vastly superior promised land and an example to Republicans on how to run social policies.
Did it just say, please save me, Donald Trump? That's crazy. But this is crazy too. Airbus. Oh my, that's what the world's coming to, man.
Land and an example to Republicans on how to run social policies. And me, as a pretentious, fart-sniffing European myself, I'm here to tell you, my dear American friend, that you are wrong. As Europe is much more different than what many over the seas will lead you to believe. So here's a video on all the things Americans get wrong about Europe.
Okay, this is gonna be good. I ain't gonna lie. I follow people on Instagram, Twitter, and then the videos. It's very different. It's very different depending on the point of view of things. And I would say that about America too. Depending on a person's point of view and their life, how they live, everything is just different. It's just different. It just depends on that person's point of view.
One of the biggest arguments I hear about Europe being propagated by smug Europeans with an EU flag as their profile picture on Twitter, or American leftists that gag at the mere mentioning of the word America, is that Europe is super walkable and a wonderland that made the car obsolete, and we all live in a car-free utopia and happily ride the super cheap and affordable and plentiful public transportation.
Does the American children really have to wake up at 6:30 for school in day?
Yes.
Here in Sweden.
Earlier than that.
The children are
Nowadays, it's kids, they not waking up at 6. They already waiting for the bus by 6:30. I remember our bus used to come at like 6:20. Used to be on the bus for an hour. We beat my mama. My mama my mom did have like an hour drive to work, but we beating her out the door some days. That's how early we.
And let me tell you something. That is not really the case. To be fair, Europe certainly is more walkable and less car friendly than America. And Europeans absolutely have more public transportation options and utilize public transport more than Americans. There's no arguing with that. However, many European states, Western and Eastern alike, still rely on using cars quite frequently. Many European cities are quite large and densely populated. As a result, using public transportation becomes quite uncomfortable as there are so many people packed together. Thus, many opt out to purchase a car and use it to get around the city.
Hey, Mercedes!
Yeah.
So, city.
Hey, Mercedes!
I know I ain't tripping. What in the world? How do you explain this? What?
So, many renowned
Oh my
European cities
goodness.
such as London, Paris, Rome, Athens, and Istanbul, and anywhere else you can think of that has a population of over 1
Oh
million,
my goodness.
hell, even 500,000, are renowned for having horrendous and congested traffic. Another
This is I definitely don't see these type of videos. But I can tell you it's traffic crazy here, especially in Texas. I can't speak for everybody else in the States, but Texas for sure. Houston, Dallas, you getting some traffic. Shoot, sometimes Austin.
issue is that if you happen to live in a smaller town or even in a more rural settlement and need to go between cities, your options for public transport get quite limited. As a
Dang.
result, many Europeans
love.
still rely on a car as their main mode of transport. This is more of a case in Eastern and Central Europe, but still very much alive in the West as well. And just because there is public transportation doesn't necessarily mean it's cheap. Using public transportation within cities in Germany and Finland can cost up to €3 for a ticket, and if you don't book your ticket for the train in Spain or Italy in time, the cost can add up. And taking a train
Dang.
cross country almost anywhere can easily be over €50 and above. It's certainly better than in America, but it certainly is no transportation utopia.
Jestem chirurgiem. Jestem chirurgiem.
Free
One of the more
healthcare.
annoying aspects of American politics is this insistence on the American far left that America should be like Europe and utilize free healthcare. First of all, our healthcare isn't free. Europeans, no matter the country you live in,
taxes.
have substantially larger taxes than those in America. A lot of this taxation goes into funding our healthcare. Unlike in America, more often than not, you pay the same tax percentage no matter your income. Thus, in many ways, European taxes are regressive compared to the American tax system. To be fair, you certainly do pay less than in America regarding your healthcare.
But everything we purchase has a tax. Anything we purchase has a tax. And at least the taxes are used for that, because here you have to have a good job to get good insurance and maybe not have to pay. So maybe the insurance will cover a certain amount.
However, a
That
lot of
depends.
times our systems are quite inefficient. A lot of times, to get any serious surgery or procedure done, you will have
Oh,
to
I
wait
thought
a
that said my
decent amount
city.
of time on a waiting list to get it done. The UK's NHS is one of the most nefarious examples of this inefficiency, and throughout Eastern and Central
Oh.
Europe, the situation isn't that far off. The only time that you'll get priority is if you have been already diagnosed and are in a serious trouble. However, to get the diagnosis in the first place can take some time to see a specialist because there's a huge waiting queue. As a result, many opt to use private healthcare and private insurance because of this. Although the additional safety net is appreciated here, it often becomes quite a burden because of its inefficiency and hit on your wallet due to the high tax rates. And unlike in America, you can opt out of paying government healthcare. Whether you use it or not, you're stuck paying these
Here comes the
ridiculously high
money.
tax rates even if you switch to
Not
private
Vince.
healthcare.
Yeah. Then I feel like if it's free, everybody gonna use it. If it's free, so you might as well pay the extra bucks, skip the lines or avoid the lines, cause oh my, like I can't even explain. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
Ridiculously
lot to
high
explain. I'll
tax
be
rates
talking all
even if
day
you
when it
switch
comes to
private
healthcare.
healthcare.
Hey, I've seen this guy before. Not
Another
healthy
thing that
lifestyle.
Europeans love to gloat about is how they are healthier than those fat American
Yoda
slobs
layer.
that ride mobility scooters to
Oh
Walmart
my.
to get their government
How did she
unregulated
get in there?
GMO-enhanced cheese from a
Ryback.
can. And to be fair, there is some truth to this. Maybe not even some, but a lot. Europe has certainly better food regulation, they have more walkable cities, and the governments encourage more healthy activities in the youth. However, on average, 53% of EU citizens are overweight, as their BMI is over
Oh, wow.
25. In particular, 54% of Germany's population is overweight, 60% of Hungary's, 60% of Czechia's, 65% of Croatia's, 56% of Portugal's, and 58% of Greece's.
That's interesting to know, but I need to see a chart about what does it, what equivalates to being overweight. I think I want to say I've seen something. It's like by the height you're supposed to be this certain weight or something like that. Most people that aren't fat are still overweight. You don't have to be just fat. I think for me being 6'3", I'm supposed to be like 195, 200. I've been balancing between 205, 210, so technically I'm overweight. It's crazy, right? But you'll see me, I'm a slim guy, but my height says I should be at least 195, 200, I think. I may be wrong. And sometimes it depends.
Again,
so
not as bad as the US,
Oh, my
but
goodness.
certainly not the flex many think it is. Although on average Europeans still have a smaller obesity rate than Americans, Europeans smoke and consume way more alcohol and caffeine than the average American.
Dang.
It is not uncommon for teenagers to start smoking young, not just in Eastern Europe, but Western as well,
Grant's
and for them to
puffin'.
also start drinking early
Not
and
battling
go bar
chugs.
hopping. So yes,
Is he drinking
European-
I watch Battling Chugs sometimes. I didn't know he
and for
drink
them to
water.
also start
What
drinking
the?
early and go bar hopping. So yes, Europeans are technically more healthy than Americans, but you give some, you take some. So this one's a bit more niche, as it's not propagated by that many Americans, but still is here and there by the less educated ones. And that is that Europe is one singular cohesive entity with singular policies, goals, and interests, which simply isn't true. Although the EU has unified us in many ways, Europe is still a continent and not a single country with a central federal government. A lot of countries until quite recently were historical enemies with each other. Today, although that is no longer the case, many still do what's best for their own nation and interests and act independently of the others. What's the law in one country won't necessarily be true in the other. Even in politics, countries must form coalitions and persuade others to push EU laws, and the process is quite slow and bureaucratic. Although we are much more unified than before, we're definitely not unified as much as America.
We definitely not that unified.
Finally, we have to talk about America's leftists' favorite talking point, and that is that Europe is a far left progressive paradise. And again, to be fair, European states are more akin to the classic welfare state model. However, they are not
I just wanna
socialist or
grill.
super left, the way American politicians such as Bernie Sanders claim. Many European states have extremely
Bernie.
business-friendly laws, despite their high taxes. Sanders, when he praised the socialist system of the Scandinavian countries, actually warranted a response from the Danish government, which proclaimed that they are a free market economy and not a socialist one like he claimed. Private enterprise is encouraged,
That's
and many
interesting.
hate to be referred to as socialists, especially in Eastern Europe. Although many nations are LGBT friendly, the average European is arguably more socially conservative than your average American, especially concerning trans rights. For example, Ireland technically only legalized divorce in 1996, and Switzerland fully
Dang.
ratified women's suffrage in 1990. Of course, the big cities are extremely progressive, just like
When you think of the 90s, I mean, of course, we're in 2023, almost 2024. Dang, time is flying. But that's still not too long ago.
any
That's
city
interesting. I
on the
didn't know
American
that.
coast, yet Europeans in general are still more
you
suspicious
smell
of immigrants
what the
and
rock is
foreigners than
cooking.
Americans. It is also quite difficult for immigrants to be accepted by the population. Assimilation culture in Europe is more lacking than America, and many immigrants whose families have been here for generations are still regarded as outsiders, be it for the factors of their own making or the factors outside of their control. I mean, just ask the average European
Like the
what he thinks about the
Simpsons.
gypsies and you'll know what I'm talking about. In conclusion, I love the shit out of Europe, and there is a reason I've chosen to make it my home instead of America. But misrepresentation helps no one, and honesty
Yeah,
is the
that's
best
facts.
policy. Let me know what you think.
For
What
sure.
misconceptions about your country/continent bother you? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also, let me know if you'd like me to make a video about misconceptions about America by Europeans.
I gotta
As
check that
always,
out.
thank you to the members who help and fund and support my work. If you wish to become a patron and support my further videos, become a member of the channel, or go and buy yourself a shirt or my board game off the ironicshop.com. My name
I'm
is
about to check
Janos,
that
and you've
out.
watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Thank you, Janos. Nah, yeah, honesty is the best policy. I tell my first graders all the time. Tell them all the time, man. But now I like that this was just being real. This was just is how real as it gets, you know. But I definitely gonna have that opportunity to experience Europe for the first time. Like I said, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has their own experiences, so definitely gonna be a huge culture shock. For me, imagine caring about what Americans think. Right, vice versa. Told me before I came to Greece I wasn't right. That's crazy. But no, this was good. Hopefully he did make the video 10 countries where Americans are not welcome. Oh my goodness. That's gonna be interesting. Definitely got to know before I don't go for that one. But yeah, this was good. This was good. Like I said, it's real. It's real out here. It's real out here. You know, good to know the truth, the reality, the true reality of things. I think that's important because, you know, sometimes it can be a fantasy. Like I said, from perspective, point of view, it depends. Like with America, y'all see what's going on. Y'all see the certain thing. But it's not everywhere. If that, you know, I'll be here all day trying to explain. But perspective wise, like some people got it bad, some people got it good. You know, we come to this, have some money. That's it. You know, if you have money, people I see with money, I mean, I can't say they living the best life, but you know, they're good. And I think that would be the same if for people that probably go to Europe frequently, they got money. From America, they got money. So easy to move around. I mean, if you don't have money, no matter where you are, it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. I wouldn't even say kind of, it does. But other than that, this was good. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. Hopefully you do the one about America, Europeans' perspective, what they get wrong about America. Because it's, like I said, sometimes you don't get the real. And it depends. Perspective, it depends. But that's all I have. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down more recommendations. And y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.